Hey guys, Kitchen Table Magician here with another episode of 6-Pack of MTG. This week, the results are in from the red and white Amonkhet deck that we built 2 weeks ago versus the black and white Hour of Devastation deck that I built last week. And if you remember, when I was building it, I gotta say, mistakes were made. I didn't listen to my gut. I should have listened to my gut. But anyway, the black-white build went 0-2 against the red-white Amonkhet build. The matches were very fast, lots and lots of early creature combat on both sides for both games, and then it stalled out for a little bit, as two aggressive decks can usually do, but Amonkhet was able to stabilize both times and finish it off with Seraph of the Suns both times, and Gideon of the Trials was able to just help pin things down. So the reason I went with black over green, just so I can explain my position, was that black had more removal available with Torment of Hailfire, the Merciless Javelineer, the Sniper, the Lethal Sting, and the Abrade that I could splash into. And it had enough support in the creature base for me to justify going that way over the green. So that's why I went with the black instead of the green, even though in my gut I felt like the green was probably the stronger build. So if you see underneath all these black cards, you'll see a lot of green sleeved up. So to satisfy my curiosity, I literally took all the black and red out of this deck and put it and replaced it with all green. And green's got a lot of really good beaters and just tons and tons of creature support over here. Got the Pouncing Cheetahs that played really, really well with the Caracal. And the only thing that's off color in here is just the one black mana symbol in the Unraveling Mummy, which I can get into because Manolith and Channeler Initiate. So we rematched, and this time, what a difference. The matches were very, very grindy, both of them, and the Hour of Devastation build in this configuration actually won 2 matches to 0 over the Amonkhet because it was able to stall up and grind out and get really, really big and had the big finishers that it needed to take on the Glorybringer, the Gideon, and the Seraph of the Suns. So, lessons have been learned. Here's to not following my gut. We will be dismantling the Hour of Devastation build from last week, and this week we will put together a new Hour of Devastation build with 6 new packs. Okay, so we're going to do Hour of Devastation again this week. And as a standard sealed build, you will get 4 packs of Hour and 2 packs of Amonkhet. So in the spirit of that, I'm going to follow that formula. So let's start, and we're going to start by drafting the first pack, right? So let's crack this through. We'll kind of look things over and try and make a pick out of this for what we would do if we were first picking out of a draft. Frontline Devastator, probably not first pickable, although I love this Afflict mechanic. That'd be for something for later. Unquenchable Thirst, not first pickable, but definitely Tempo Weave for later on. Mummy Paramount, probably not. Sidewinder Naga, probably not. This guy, Marauding Bone Slasher, can't block unless you control a zombie. That's probably not first pickable either. Oasis Ritualist. This taps for mana. It's a mana dork, but my problem with it, and my big problem, is the casting cost right here of 4. If I want a mana dork, I want a mana dork, and I want it to be on the Llanowar Elf or maybe a 2 casting cost level, so no. Unsummon is very good. This is an old classic. I've always loved Unsummon, but it's not first pickable. Then, of course, the Deserts. 3/4 with Lifelink for 5. Well, at this point, I think it's better than anything else we've seen in the pack, so I would put it at the top right now, but there's probably something better. Without Weakness, for 2 mana, target creature you control is indestructible till the end of turn, and it cycles. That's not first pickable. All right, this has been overall a weak pack so far. Razakath's Right, for 5 mana, search for your library for a card and put it into your hand and then shuffle. So this is a Demonic Tutor for 5 mana. It does cycle for 1, but still, 5 mana, come on. That is not playable. Chandra's Defeat, not probably playable in a sealed environment. This is a sideboard card. Violent Manifestation is also a side build around kind of a thing. So that leaves us with Dejuro with Eyes Open, which is a legendary human warrior with Vigilance, 4/3 for 5 mana. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. And if a source would deal damage to a Planeswalker you control, you may prevent 1 of that damage. So in a sealed limited environment, this probably isn't, this is isn't like probably a first pickable card either. This is definitely a sweet build around card though, so this is cool to get. And then we got a forest. So I'm probably at this point, I didn't see any good removal. I didn't see any evasive creatures. I didn't see any bombs. So I think at this point, I probably would just go for this Scrounger of the Souls. Just so you've got a nice big life-linking body, and maybe you can get some support to go with that down the road. So not a very strong pack. Scrounger of the Souls would be my pick out of this one. All right, so since we have DeJuro with eyes open in the card pool, maybe we get lucky and we rip Nicole Bolas. How awesome would that be? Put us in a 4-color deck, but I would totally try and do that. You know I would. All right, so now we're just going to kind of quickly go through to the back here. And we have got Manticore Eternal, Afflict 3, and it attacks each turn if able, and it's pretty big. Angel of the God Pharaoh, flying for 4, cycles for 2. Inferno Jet deals 6 damage to an opponent, cycles for 2. And we have Hour of Eternity. Exile X target creature cards from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. I mean, it's steep. You're going to need some heavy mana to get into this, but that's cool. Ooh, Foily Full Art Mountain. Score! That is gorgeous. Awesome. Alright, Act 2. Moving through the commons here. And getting to the back of this, we have Nissa's Defeat. Probably not that playable in a limited environment. Saving Grace, Flash, enchant creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, all damage will be dealt to you, and permanents you control is dealt to this creature instead. The Ominous Sphinx, 4/4 flying for 5. When you cycle or discard a card, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0. That's a nice body in the air, right, in this kind of an environment. Okay, Dream Stealer is our rare. 1/2 menace. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards, and it has Eternalize. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the mechanics on that. That's very cool. And I love the artwork. That's another just really good piece of artwork. All right, let's get through this. Sometimes I get distracted easily, in case you hadn't noticed. I get pulled in by other things. Tragic Lesson. This is actually not a bad card at all. I like the Archer. Rona's Stalwart, Desert. All right. God Pharaoh's Faithful Travelers, Omniant. All right, so we have Farm to Market. Destroy attacking or blocking creature. That's very solid in a limited environment like what we're going to be building in here. The Tenacious Hunter. It has a -1 counter. As long as it has a -1 counter on it, it has Vigilance and Death Touch. And it's a 4/4 for 4. That's pretty good. Ifnir Deathlands. Tap for colorless or pay a life. Add black to your pool. Or sack a desert and put 2 -1/-1 counters on a creature an opponent controls. And then we have Hour of Devastation. All creatures lose indestructible till the end of the turn. Hour of Devastation deals 5 damage to each creature and each non-bolus planeswalker. Oh my god, that's a bomb. Okay, I'm thinking we might lean on red here. It's kind of hard to judge going through the card pool this fast, so I can't wait to sort this one out. Alright, now we get into our 2 Amonkhet packs, which I'm a little bit more familiar with this set, because I've been playing with it. The Cartouche blue one is good. All right, we've got a Warfire Javelineer. Oh, I probably could have slowed that down. Vizier of Deferments. And Angler Drake. This is a rock star in this kind of environment. This thing is a rock star. And I've got a nice cycling dual land. I'm so excited about these cycling lands. If I haven't said it enough, you can't say it enough. The ability to cycle and pilfer through your lands during a game is huge. So yeah, I'm excited about the cycling deserts. I'm super excited about the cycling dual lands. Alright, Aven Initiate, that's fair. Bitterblade Warrior, I love this guy. Okay, so we've got a Watchers of the Dead, which I'm not that crazy about. Shadowstorm Vizier, flying when you cycle or discard a card, he gets +1/+1. He's alright. Our rare is Oracle's Vault. Exile the top card of your library. Until the end of the turn, you may play that card and then put a brick counter on this. Exile the top card of your library. Until the end of the turn, you may play that card without paying for it, and only if there are 3 brick counters. That's kind of cool, huh? And then I got a foily Tah-Crop Skirmisher. All right, so that's the 6 packs. I'm going to go sort this out. We'll go through this mix, and then we'll go build something. All right, so I've had time to go through this card mix and sort it out and kind of evaluate it a little bit. I'll share it with you, and we'll go through this. I'm going to start with the lands this time. because I did get a Painted Bluffs, and I always am happy to see some kind of mana fixing in my land pool in a sealed, because it allows you to go splash for something else that you might want, and that's going to be so in the case of this card pool. So I do have the Painted Bluffs, and then some of these, oh, and I do have a Canyon Slough, which I can also use for some mana fixing, and then I have some of these Cycling Deserts, and this Ifnir, which is colorless mana. I don't know if we're going to get into a black build or not. Yep. And then the Desert. Okay, into artifacts. Watchers of the Dead, I'm not that excited about. Oracle's Vault, I've never played with, played against it, anything like that. So it looks cool. I might try and use it. It looks like it could be a nice late game finisher, but we'll see. And then I'm excited about these. Traveler's Amulet, for the same reason that I'm excited about the Painted Bluffs. I can go splash for anything I want now. And there's a couple of things that I think I might want to splash for that are not going to be in my colors. And the first one of those is probably this Farm. This is very premium removal in a sealed environment like this, and I might want to splash for that. And then the other gold color card I have is a Shadowstorm Vizier. Alright, so I think my best color, I'm going to go in reverse order than what I usually do, I guess. I got these stacked up. I think my best color, honestly, is blue for this card pool. Like I said, Angler Drake is an absolute bomb in this environment. A 4/4 flyer that returns creatures to their owner's hands is absolutely crazy good. And then I do have Ominous Sphinx, which is another 4/4 flyer, so I see a lot of good bombs here. This Hour of Eternity, I'm not sure about. It's going to take a crap ton of mana to pull this off, and it'll be a late game finisher if anything. So, but it looks really cool, so we'll see. And then I've got a nice flyer here, and then it's blue has got a lot of, the rest of it's just some good creatures on the ground. A really sweet selection of card draw and some control. So I see blue being very, very solid. Okay, next I've got red, which has this Hour of Devastation, which is ridiculous. So I'm probably going to be playing with that. And then it's just got a ton of also really good creature support to go behind it. Several big beat sticks, and then some other stuff on the ground. This Blur of Blades for a piece of removal. More creatures on the ground. And then a nice little assortment of a couple of things I might want to play with back here for instants and sorceries. All right, my next strongest color as we go in decreasing is white, I think. No bombs, couple of decent flyers, but they're kind of expensive. And then some stuff on the ground, but nothing really, really crazy. So I probably won't be going into white, other than to splash for that farm to market. Okay, final reward. This is in black. This is another premium piece of removal for this environment. I will probably splash for this one card as well that's going to be out of what will probably be red and blue. Other than that, there's really nothing in black that I really want to go after, I don't think. And then the weakest color in this pool, I believe, this time around is green. I have a Colossopede. That's about it. Bitterblade Warrior's pretty solid. After that, it just kind of goes downhill from there. There's no removal. There's nothing here it's just kind of dirtily dirt. So I'm probably going to, I know I'm going to be letting green go completely. So that's the card pool for this build. So let's go see what shapes up. Okay, so as I suspected, it's a blue-red build, but I did splash the farm and I did splash the final reward, and I feel comfortable doing both of those because of the mana fixing that's available to me. So I have this deck, instead of sorted out by mana cost like I have on the other couple ones, so you can see the curve, this one I've just kind of got it sorted out by category a little bit of things that I'm looking for when I build. So starting at the top end, this is the stack of bombs that I was able to pull. Some are better than others. Angler Drake is fantastic. Ominous Sphinx is a nice 4/4 flyer for 5. The Hour of Devastation is a really cool piece of board sweep. And then these other ones are just some big red beat sticks that sit on the ground and just do beat sticky things. And they have this Afflict mechanic that I like, the Manticore does. And Menace is really, really good. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with all this. This one gets blockers out of the way. So then I look for removal. Like I said, the best piece I have in here is Final Reward, and then Farm is right behind it. In blue, it's not so much removal as it is these boomerang effects, which I find to be very, very good. These are very tempo-y, and these can get you out of sticky situations. And then I've got a Blur of Blades, which is kind kind of small removal, but it will do something. And then this kind of fits both two categories in that it's a creature on the board and it's a piece of removal at the same time. So it's here in the removal column, and it will also fit down here with my creature base. Next, I have a flyer. It's the only one I really had available to me in these colors, so I'm just going to run with it. It does embalm, so I can bring it back, so that's nice. This mix had a ton of card draw, and I rank that very, very, very high. So I've got 3 really good pieces of card draw, plus the second half of Farm, the market half, is also card draw potentially. So there's a lot of it here. I'm going to be able to get through this deck. Then I've got just a ton of creature base, and you want big creature base in sealed pools. It's just something you need. You got to have the bodies on the ground, right? So I've got a pile of the best ones that were in these 2 colors. And then I'm just rounding this build off with 2 Traveler's Amulets to be able to go get into the couple of things that I've splashed. So I have included a Swamp and a Plains alongside the Painted Bluff for some fixing, and then just some blue and red mana. So that's the deck, and we'll pit this against the red-white Amonkhet build from 2 weeks ago that is the reigning 2-week champion now, and we'll see if this one can take it out. Until next week. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, comments are welcome at the bottom, and feedback. And if you like this video and want to see more of this, thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.